Well, this is going to be a short and quick little book, I guess, review, because at the end of 2025, I got a little email from Hollow Press saying that Vermis 3 was now available for pre-order. This is a series that I've talked about a little bit before. I had no idea a third one was even coming. This is Vermis 3, Old Curses and Buried Horrors, and it is the official guide for the game. Vermis 2 was Mist and Mirrors, and Vermis was Lost Dungeons and Forbidden Woods. So, 1, 2, 3. This is an official strategy guide for a game that does not exist. It is also simultaneously a dark fantasy story and a lot of really neat artwork. So, if you like a little darkness to your art, a little darkness to your fantasy, and just overall that gloomy, gothic, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, I guess, type theme, even though there's less of the gothic horror in here and it's more fantasy. But Vermis 3 is by, and I'm probably pronouncing this correctly, but it's Plastiboo, because it looks like plastic and boo mixed together on Instagram. Does a lot of just random art and really neat pictures and stuff, and most of it always has a horror theme or dark fantasy or just something a little macabre, morbid, whatever you want to call it. And these books have been awesome to me, so I'll take a quick look inside here, and you can see a little bit of this book. And you may notice it was a little pushed up. That's because I currently am not finished with it, but it was just awesome enough that I wanted to do the video now, because this just arrived yesterday. Today's February 1st, 2026, so I just wanted to talk about it. So the first couple pages kind of set up the theme of the game, and this one looks like it is 4 brothers who have a prophecy that must be fulfilled, and you have to help them finish it, or I guess see it through. Then it goes over like your starting relic that you'd pick, the different status effects that you'd have, and then it goes over a brief, quick overview of the classes of the game, and then it goes into the actual, weapons and special abilities and statistics of the units that the character that you would be, not units. And after quite a few pages of that, you actually get into the quote-unquote game and the guide. So you begin your journey at the Shores of Awakening, and it describes what you would do in the game and how to start off. And then as you progress, it's like, oh, look near the beach, watch it, there's a secret weapon there, and describes that weapon. Then it gets into your first boss, which is a headless horse riding female that chases you around, and it advises you, you can't beat it. This fight is too hard for you right now. So run into this cave when you find it. And I'm sure if this game was real, there would be people that absolutely would spend their life defeating this first boss to prove the game wrong. But then you get into the watery paths, and the game continues to progress through different things. I'm not going to go over each section and spoil what's in this book, because I think if this is something that interests you, like all things I show off on my channel, discover it for yourself if you're interested, because it's more fun than watching someone else tell you how to feel about something, is my opinion. So where I currently took a break was the Withered Woods, which is just where my character would be entering. And I don't know anything else beyond this, so we're just going to flip through some random pages and see what comes up. But there's things like Sundown Waters, the Poisoned Lake, meeting NPCs to have a warm supper, which I'm guessing is probably going to go bad. And then cool characters like, what is going on with the camera? I'm not going to edit that because I want to see if that actually shows up. But on my camera, it looked like it was trying to zoom focus, and it looked like the book was vibrating. But anyway, there's cool characters like this Wounded Wyvern, the Penitents of Flame, different items that you get from defeating bosses. And then at various points in the book, there are points where the brothers who came out of the lake in the beginning give you a piece of the omen. So you read that section, and it shows when that would be happening in the game. Different things like maps and mazes for levels that don't exist. This is just so cool to me. Puzzles and solutions to them. Maps of a town or a city, hamlet, something. And then reaching near the end game, which there's a lot left here, but I'm not going to flip through and see how this book ends. But that is Vermis 3. What will be left of you at the end of your journeys? So that was a brief overlook at Vermis 3, Old Curses and Buried Horrors, the third fake strategy guide for a series of games that does not exist. But me, Lords of the Fallen, Immortal Shell, Dark Souls, anything like that with that dark fantasy theme has appealed to me since I discovered that genre. So, if anyone were to ever tackle Vermis, I would definitely be spending time in this world that Plastiboo created because it is awesome, the lore is interesting, the story that he sets up is literally like you're playing a game while you're reading the book because you fill in the gaps of what your character would be doing in these levels in between each page, because there is bestiaries of what monsters you'd find in the area and just weapons and items, and you can imagine what playing the game would be like until you get to the next page and you need that guide that tells you how to get past that boss or puzzle or whatever. Plastiboo is just masterful at creating an imaginative situation. So if you're interested in this series, it is available on Hollow Press. They do a lot of horror and dark fantasy and more mature themes, so I will say their website is not for kids because not every product they have is rated PG-13 or less. So I discovered these books because I think it was a Game Informer ad or something just said this is something you got to check out if you like Dark Souls and you like game guides and stuff. That's what led me to this. So if you are interested in something like this, I would recommend checking out the Vermis series. The books themselves, not overly big, but they are full of content. This Vermis 3 here, you can tell he put a lot into this. Each page is full of information. So hopefully it's interesting to you, because it definitely piqued my interest.